What up, everyone? Welcome back to Channel Couch Co-op. We got Grim and we got Shapes.
Yo.
Today we're going to talk about the rest of the Disney Plus series Moon Knight. Ooh.
Yeah.
So as you saw from our first video, and if you didn't, go check it out. As she wonderfully licks my arm.
Yeah.
We were not super impressed with episodes 1 and 2, and Shaf was kind of, what do you say, annoyed or just displeased with Stephen Grant as a character?
Annoyed, yeah, I guess.
So
that'd be a good description.
Just be a little more passive, a little wimpy, and just not really willing to.
Well, no, just annoying.
Yeah.
I just his voice was annoying, which, you know, it was really hammy and stuff like that, which later we will find out why, you know. But yeah. Anyway.
So essentially, for Moon Knight, there's he's one with identity. IDD is it? Identity dissociative disorder.
Oh yes, yes.
And he has multiple personalities. The ones that you need to know from this show is Stephen Grant and Mark Spector.
Mm-hmm.
And you just don't really know what's going on, why he's the way he is, and what's Moon Knight's all about. Because the origin isn't just right there in the beginning, like most comic book type movies or shows.
And I respect the way that they do it, obviously, or that method of doing it. There's nothing wrong with that.
Sure.
I actually probably kind of prefer it because I feel origin stories kind of get overplayed a lot too much.
Bogged down with the minuscule details and stuff, right?
Yeah, because I feel like a lot of the time the average moviegoer, by the time they go and see it, would probably kind of look up
What's
at least
going
who the character is and stuff like that. So, I mean, in the way that the show is and how they executed it, it was fine. I just was certain characters I felt were really, Steven was just really kind of the major anchor to the show to me, and it never really improved throughout the show. Honestly, I mean, it did a little bit in certain aspects. You know, we end up learning he's really intelligent about Egyptian history, so that was kind of neat.
Sure.
But I don't know. Other than that, it was.
I think both of us personally think that it started off pretty slow. It was a little rough to kind of go at first, and as the series continued and progressed, we grew to appreciate it more and in different ways. I think we both feel like it's not absolute crap.
No.
But it's not as good as some of the other series that we really enjoyed, like Hawkeye or even, a Loki and WandaVision or whatever it may be.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely bottom of the barrel.
So, but I would say it's worth a watch. It's recommended for me at least, just to kind of check it out and see this particular character. Before we jump into spoilers,
I would say it's maybe skip it. I don't know. I mean, unless you're a fan of Moon Knight, you might enjoy it, but I don't know. I just thought it was just it was okay.
Sure.
The weakest of definitely what was released
so far on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
In terms of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah.
So, I mean, with that said, we're going to start talking more in depth about the show. So if you have not watched the series and you have ambitions and want to watch it, you should probably stop
skip
here.
It. Yeah.
If you're not going to skip it either.
That's why we just gave our review.
Yeah.
In general.
So we're going to now kind of delve into the more specific details. So, Schaefer, throw away with your spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoilers.
And future Schaefer down here.
Yeah. It'll be there.
Beyond that,
Cover Lucia.
So, after episode 2, we basically kind of find out that there is split personality, and we just don't know what the intentions of each person are. You kind of find out that Mark Spector is kind of like an assassin, if you will.
I mean, I guess, for me, I heard that they were going to take certain liberties with the story.
Sure.
And so, in my mind, I was wondering if they were going to go with the split personality thing from the comics. And
sure.
Would they deviate away from that?
Mm-hmm.
Nope, they did do that. So, I for some reason, I kind of felt like they were going to do something where it was someone that was a previous Avatar, and still because they're attached to Khonshu, and now they're attached to them, kind of a thing.
So in the MCU, essentially, the Egyptian gods can choose an avatar to take care of their their duties and what they want to accomplish on the Earth realm.
Yeah.
We find out that Mark Spector was a candidate for Khonshu, and then before that, Ethan Hawke's character, what's his name?
It's Hammond, or right? It's Hammond, right?
Maybe.
I believe it is. It's Hammond, but I forget. It's Trevor Hammond, maybe? Is that what it is?
It doesn't. I'll click it at some point. But his character was the former avatar for Khonshu.
Yep.
And he is the main protagonist, and he is trying to become the avatar...
Antagonist,
excuse me.
Yes.
Of Amet, the holder of the balance for Anubis for the determination if you're going to go to heaven in this world, which is the field of Medes, or hell, which is...
the sands, basically.
Lost in the sands of Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
So, basically, the journey is for Ethan to try to find the idol for Amet and release him, and Mark is trying to stop it. You kind of find out that Mark is married to this wonderful actress. She did a very good job for Mark's wife, who was an Egyptian, which was, she did really good, and she eventually became the Scarlet Scarab from the Marvel comic book series.
Yeah.
And she actually became the avatar for Tarawet, the hippo goddess of fertility.
Yeah.
And also, she also is the captain, essentially, of the boat.
The
voyage of hell, I guess.
I mean, it's, it was cool. I like that they introduced a lot of that into the series a little bit, and that was kind of refreshing to me. And then them going to Cairo, and then the Great Pyramids, so that was cool. I mean, it kind of had almost like a
Indiana Jones feel.
I guess a little bit. I would
poor man's national.
Yeah, exactly. So that was cool. I like them in the afterlife thing with the insane asylum and stuff like that was kind of neat. A nice little nod. They did that with, I was telling Grim about it, but Legion, the show that was on FX, it had a lot of hints of that, honestly.
So essentially, as we kind of progress, Steven and Mark fall through different realities, may it be an insane asylum or what we perceive as the real world. And the asylum is essentially after he actually gets shot by Hammond, he falls into death, he thinks, but really it is the segue or the
purgatory, essentially.
Yeah, the purgatory in which you determine if he was going to go into the fields of reeds or lost in the sands of Egypt. And in this area, he was trying to find himself and make balance in his heart. To allow him to go to the field of reeds.
Right. I mean, it was in it was basically the reason why I was at a sane asylum is it's what his mind was creating. Yeah. So which the hippo goddess, I forget her name, whatever.
Tarawet.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, probably not. But yeah, so they were there, and she kind of makes reference to that most people don't choose a place like this.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, obviously that's how he feels about himself. So, go ahead. And then, sorry, we both said the same thing. We both execute.
Inside the insane asylum is a lot of things that Mark Spector. You find out that Mark Spector is the primary person in charge of his body, and all of his misgivings and things that he's done and held onto and buried away in his heart come out. All the people he's killed as a hired killer. Why?
Well, he creates. Oh, okay. I thought you were. I didn't. I thought you were gonna.
Yeah. Why he created Steven? Because of lots of emotional trauma as a child.
Yeah, his mom was abusive.
He accidentally killed his brother.
Yeah.
And he had a drinking issue and whatnot. So this is his little purgatory of dealing with what he has seen and done through his past, and it allows Steven to understand who he is, why he's there, and what he's all about.
Sure. I mean, but for me, the thing that I find interesting is it was Stephen Grant was the character name from the movie.
The essential Indiana Jones of that universe. Yeah.
So, and that's why he has a bad accent. So that explains that, and it's like, you know, when
His
I was like,
his catchphrase "Later Gator" is also used.
So I mean, yeah, which was kind of neat, but it still doesn't make him less annoying.
I found him a little bit endearing, and he was okay in my book. But I think overall, in terms of Oscar Isaac and Ethan Hunt, they did a phenomenal job acting in this particular miniseries. I enjoyed it a lot. It was very entertaining on both sides.
Yeah, I mean, I think the whole Steven thing was a little corny. It was, you know, like, you were my favorite, my best superpower or whatever. Like, I was just kind of like, oh, what?
It's a point in which you have a growing empathy for Steven, depending if you watch it like that way, and that is, I think, the premise of that particular comic.
I guess. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know he had a horrible upbringing, but
sure,
like, I don't know how I would handle it, something like that. But at the same time, I'm kind of like, I figured it, like, when he made peace with it, it would have basically kind of gotten rid of Steven, because he doesn't necessarily need him now that he's an adult. But I don't know. You know, I guess, you know, comic books, he's there. So and then they introduce the third personality,
which we'll get to after the fact, because there's
well, don't want to make this too long. Though,
yeah, no. There's a couple things I want to kind of touch upon, and then we'll go from there. But in regards to, like, here, if you want to look at my cliff notes.
Oh, no. Go ahead. Sorry, I got an itch now.
No, you're good. You know, so, like, my assumption was your comment with Steven and still being there after the fact of creating a realization and coming to terms of his life and his choices or whatever, is that, you know, if he created it at an age, 8 to 11, and it's been there for, well, it officially came out at 18 or whatever when his mom passed away or whatever the case may be. You know, 15, 20 years of that partner, that person, I guess that shows why. But yet again, it's a comic book. You have that entity already created, you might as well keep using it.
And I mean, he does have he has he's really intelligent on the history, so
yeah.
I mean, that helps when they're splunking, you know.
Yeah, and the great pyramids of Giza.
Yeah.
I mean, the other thing is which is nice, is it's kind of a minor Egyptian history class that this show, it is flawed in some aspects of what we deem is correct in our realities, and the amount of gods and what they do and how they work. The interesting liberty that they put with it was including Alexander the Great in a tomb, which we know he had a lot of affinity or love towards Egyptian culture, and then I think
he also conquered it.
Yeah. So there's a lot of that as well. In the series, in generalities, I think it was visually spectacular, made from different camera angles and reflections and turning of the camera, the going through time travel, and then the kaiju monster battle at the end was very entertaining to me.
Yeah, that was cool. I mean, the special effects were definitely done well.
Yeah.
You know, the Moon Knight outfit, I guess, kind of got better with time as I watched it more.
Did you like the suited? Like, I know it's Stephen Grant's entity. Did you like his suited Moon Knight?
Yeah. I forget what he's called in the comics. There's like a specific name for him.
Mr. Knight?
Yes, yeah. So, but yeah, like, that was cool. You know, I like, there were glints of hope in it and stuff like that. I think the Steven storyline, and when they were in the Purgatory Desert, I don't know, it was a little bit hit or miss. Like, I like how it fleshed out what actually happened.
Sure.
But I feel like I said, I just felt like they could have just got rid of Steven at that point. And like, now they're like flipping between characters as they're fighting and stuff like that, and I'm just kind of like, I don't know.
No, I get it. I think it's interesting in the fact that, you know, like, I lost my train of thought. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, other than that, though, like, the kaiju fight was kind of funny, like, ridiculous. Like, it ended okay, I think. Little, of course, Marvel like spectacular, finale general.
Is it the conclusion of a miniseries? Because on Twitter it was, what was it, series finale, and then they changed it to season finale on Twitter.
Oh, did they?
I mean, I think that could be a premises of if there is a connection, is there a sequel? Is there anything else to be expected from it? Will you see the Scarlet Scarab in different other MCU pictures? But the other question is the only one draw that there was a connection between the MCU, Earth, I think, is it Earth 616 or 818? Whichever one our current MCU is in. The only connection we have is there were posters in London for the task force for the people who flipped back. We didn't hear anything about, like, Captain America, the Avengers, or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So there's very minimal connection to the MCU with this particular miniseries.
I mean, I don't know. I kind of was hoping that what I read, what they said that they were really going to try to connect it to anything.
Yeah.
They're going to stick with that.
Yeah.
Because I want them to kind of try something.
Like separate.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I would, because I think then they could have a little more fun with it. I kind of was hoping that they would do that with X-Men, perhaps.
Okay.
Just because I think having X-Men in the same universe as, like, the Avengers is kind of messy.
It's messy in MCU. Is it messy in the comic book, like, actual Marvel comics? No. It's
but
what it is, right?
I mean, yeah, because it's like it's still comics. You could kind of remove it from a lot,
sure,
still, but because it's like, it's always kind of weird to me because they live in the Marvel. They're in the Marvel universe where obviously the Avengers are thought of as heroes and obviously revered,
right?
But yet mutants are seen as
second-class citizens.
Yeah, exactly. Like the devil, essentially.
Yeah. Sure.
And so it's like, to me, that makes no sense. And so it's like, it would just make sense if there was like just a universe where it was just mutants, good, evil, and the human race is divided on how they feel about them.
Sure.
Whatever.
No, it makes sense because then you don't have any clashing arcs. You don't have any this character's in this thing, and why were they doing anything with the mutants here? And do we jump back in time, or do you make another parallel universe and have it there? So it's just a lot.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of time jumping in X-Men, as you know.
So I mean, I think we'll have to see how Kevin Feige plans to unravel his web of Marvel, right?
It'd be cool if maybe they just do like the X-Men universe or something like that, and it's like they have crossover because obviously they have Doctor Strange, and and now Chavez.
Yeah.
So it's like now they could just open up that realm, perhaps, to that realm, bring Wolverine over for, of course, for one good Jollian.
Right.
Who do you think it should be? That's the question.
What?
The new Wolverine.
I don't know enough actors. Unfortunately, I'm still stuck on Hugh Jackman. I know he's getting old, but in my mind, that's Wolverine at this point. And I know he's too
Some
tall.
people think Daniel Radcliffe. Or a lot of other people are saying Zac Efron now.
Like, Zac Efron is more swole than Radcliffe, for sure. And not to say he can't. Not knocking Harry Potter. But the thing is he would need to put on some, 20, 30 pounds of muscle easy.
Sure.
But he is shorter, like the stature of Logan, so it makes sense. Or James Holland, or whichever entity it is. But
I'm sure it'll be all the above.
Right. to jump back for Moon Knight, I think Schaefer says if you can, pass on it. If you care about it, watch it. It's not really worth a second watch.
If you were on the fence about it, I'd say you could probably skip it.
Yeah.
I'll put it that way. But
for me, I'm a consumer of media and junkiness. I would say watch it. I would say if I had to go on a 1 to 10 scale, and I know it's an arbitrary number, it's sitting around a 7 at best.
That's generous.
Yes.
Most generous.
I'm definitely the more generous of scorers.
5, maybe. Maybe.
But the thing is the third entity that Shannon touched upon before was at the end credit scene where you finally meet Jake Foxley.
Well, he does black out. They black out at one point, and both Steven and Mark
Yeah.
do not remember what happened, and they're like, "What the hell?"
So there was a third identity within him, and they also showed a second coffin in the insane asylum, which they didn't bother opening, which Jake was probably in there. And the thing is at the end of the show, it's Ethan Hawke's character in the insane asylum, and the nurse is checking on him, and someone speaks in Spanish, and then woos the nurse, and then takes Ethan Hawke's character out, puts him in is it a Bentley, or what kind of car is it?
Yeah, I think that's what it is, like a Bentley limousine.
Yeah, and then there's on the in front, it says Spectre for the vanity plate, and Khonshu's in there in a suit, and he basically said, it's like, Mark and Steven were worried that I wanted the wife to be the next, Moon Knight. That's not true. I had my Moon Knight, and it was the third entity, Jake.
Yeah.
And Jake takes out a silencer, and I think he says Hasta la Vista or something like that, and then shoots Ethan Hawke twice with the silencer pistol in the head.
Is that what he says?
Or he said something in regards to goodbye or something to that effect.
I can't remember.
Or
but yeah,
it's another quotable alternate language thing. But,
yeah.
I think maybe that pretty much sums up what Moon Knight is to us. If you have time and you don't really, if you are interested, I would say go ahead and watch it. Schaefer says if you don't care about Moon Knight or any of his background, his past, our opinions vary all the time, but we do appreciate you guys watching in terms of all of our videos. So don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will see you next time.
Later.
I'm Channel Couch Go Up.